Hi everyone, George Farmer here. I'm just going to talk about my Aquascape 1200 aquarium by Evolution Aqua. You can see it looks pretty horrendous at the moment, and the reason for that is that I've recently taken most of the plants out, all of the wood, and used that in a previous Aquascape. You might have seen my other live video. It's about 3 hours long, two and a bit hours long, about how I set up an Aquascape of 1500 for a private client. And I used all of my mature ferns and crypts and wood from this tank and set it up in the client's home tank. So he's got an immediately mature aquascape. So at the moment this is looking awful, as you can see. It looks like just a bit of a mess. I've uprooted a load of crypts. The soil and the sand have migrated into each other. There's a couple of random pots in there which I might use later. So yeah, at the moment it's just a temporary thing. It's not going to be like this for too long. I am away for a week or so soon, so I'll probably get started when I get back from my trip to Canada. So I'm really excited about the next aquascape. I think it's going to be my best one yet. I'm collaborating with a guy called Stephen Chong. Some of you in the aquascaping community will have heard of him already. He's a talented artist. He lives in Tokyo. He's part of the Tokyo Aquascaping Union, which includes guys that regularly get in the top 27 of the IAPLC, which is the biggest aquascaping contest in the world, run by aqua designer Mano. So he's part of that. He gets mentored by the guy that has won the ADA contest 2 years running. So he kind of knows what he's talking about. He's a talented artist. He sketches using Photoshop, etc. And we've collaborated and we've come up with an aquascape design together, and I'm going to implement that design in here. So you can hopefully expect something really cool in the near future. I'll just grab my iPad, and then hopefully if any got any questions at all about this setup or aquascaping in general, then I'll do my best to answer you. So please feel free to leave any comments, questions, and I'll have a look and check out your comments. Just bear with me a second. Oh, the daughter's been watching Michael McIntyre for a look of it. Go. 36 people watching. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully I can see your comments. Live chat, here we go. Hi Kix, hi Tony. Looks lovely to me. Yeah, it looks okay. The stonework hasn't been touched, so the rocks look quite good at the front, I guess. Matt, hi, inspired by your vids. I've just started doing a dry start method scape. However, one patch is melting, everything else is fine. Any suggestions as to why? One patch of the same species, I assume. You can get differences in the substrate. So even though if you're using a soil of all of the same type, you can get areas of that soil that might be super rich compared to others. So that might explain some melting. There might be a slight discrepancy in the plant. It might have a disease. It's doubtful these days, but yeah, loads of different factors. I wouldn't worry too much. Probably best to remove the patch that's melting, and hopefully the healthy plants around it will merge and fill that patch up. Hi Brian, how do you like the Kessel lighting? Hi Scorch. The Kessel lighting's amazing. So this is Kessel A360 WE tuner suns. I have them on 50% colour, 50% intensity, and I really like them. They're on for 8 hours a day. We use a spectral controller, so I can program the photo period and intensity, etc. But yeah, we really like them. I like the glitter effects. You can probably see on the ceiling there, the kind of glitter lines that we get. So yeah, really good lights. They are quite expensive though. You're looking at about £350, which is about $400 probably each. And then the spectral controllers, another £100 or so or dollars. And I also use these lighting hanging kit, stainless steel lighting arms from Evolution Aqua, which I think look really great. Okay. Okay, so Nigel PK, my fish are having a hard time swimming in the flow. Any tips to get it better with flow? I'm not sure what you mean. Sorry. If you want good flow is a good idea of the planted tank. If you have fish that don't like a lot of flow, then you're probably best trying a different aquascape out that doesn't need too much flow. How did you get the height at the back, George? Says David. Used a product called JBL Volcano Mineral, which is basically crushed lava stone, and just used that as a base layer. Digital Reaper. George, looking forward to the new scape. Just set up myself after being in reefing. Ecotech Radion XR15 for me. Yeah, they're good lights, very good. Love the Kessels. Used to have the Tuna Blues. The shimmer is unreal. Yeah, a lot of people don't like the shimmer. They find it quite distracting. It's one of those things. Patrick, hi George, very nice. Your tanks is always one of my favourite scapers. Will you be in Holland very soon? I have been invited to Vivarium 2017, which is a hobbyist kind of show, a consumer show, run for hobbyists. So I'm hoping to do a couple of workshops there. I've been invited over there in November, so might see you there hopefully, Patrick. Tony, when doing a planted tank, do you have to use CO2? No, is the easy answer to that, but you do get much better plant growth if you do inject CO2. I'll keep it as simple as that, really. I could go on about CO2 for hours. Shimmer is great. Yeah, some people don't like it. I like it. Oh, Patrick, you're going to be at the Vivarium. That's great news. I look forward to seeing you. Make sure you come over and introduce yourself. It'd be lovely to meet some of the people that I engage with online. So that's really cool. Scorch says, what fish have you got in there? I've got some scissor-tail rasboras. I've got some rasbora, bora tapriensis, white-cloud mountain minnows, boatia sid for monkeys, the dwarf chain loaches, and harlequins. So pretty much all Southeast Asian fish. I've gone for like an Asian vibe really, mostly Asian plants as well, with the ferns and the crypts that were in there. And I've got loads of cherry shrimp, and there's quite a few amino shrimp in there. It's about 20 amino shrimp, maybe 30, and hundreds of cherry shrimp, and there's a few bee shrimp as well, crystal reds in there. So yeah, there's a few ottocinclus as well, just to keep algae away. But it is looking a state. I just thought it'd be interesting to show, the reason why it looks like this. Do check out my previous videos on this Aquascape 1200. You'll see the progress over the kind of last year or so that it's been running. It is one of the longest aquascapes I've had running, about 12 months old. But yeah, I really like it. It's a beautiful tank, Aquascape 1200 by Evolution Aqua. It's 4 foot long, 2 foot front to back, and 18 inches tall, or 120 centimetres, 60 centimetres, 45 centimetres if you're used to metric. Holds about 300 litres or so. It's got 2 JBL filters in there, big external filters, pressurised CO2 with inline, running at about 2 or 3 bubbles a second, and big fire extinguisher for the cylinder, 6 kilogram fire extinguisher for the CO2 as well, and a really high-end regulator from Greenleaf Aquarium in America. Yeah, it's a really nice system. I really like it, and I'm really excited about setting up the new aquascape soon. Hi, inverted one. Adrian, I went from low tech to high tech, but my plants don't grow as much as I expected. I do get loads of algae. What am I doing wrong? Says Arian, sorry, not Adrian. It could be loads of different things going wrong. It's really hard to give you advice from just that. But I will say is keep your CO2 stable and high, but not high enough to obviously hurt on your livestock. Try lower your lighting. And feed a really good quality liquid fertiliser every day, and lots of water changes, and hopefully your algae will decline and your plant health will grow. A lot of people add too much light thinking that's the best thing for the plants, but actually it can be the best thing for algae depending on your setup and the balance of it. So what is the best easy plant for keeping shrimp, please, says Tony. It's not really, you don't really need to say for keeping shrimp. There's loads of easy plants out there which are suitable for shrimp tanks and fish only tanks or whatever. But the easiest plants are probably Anubias, Java fern, there's a classic. Cryptocorynes are really easy, don't need much light. They do like a nutrient-rich substrate, but you can get away just feeding liquid fertilisers as well, or both, which I do. Crypt ferns, mosses as well. Mosses are brilliant for shrimps. They love to crawl over them and eat the biofilm off the moss. H2O plants, hey, nice to see you on here. Moving water, hi George, what are your thoughts on bare bottom aquascaping? Just tying plants and ornaments and feeding plants through water column. I've never tried it. For me, aquascaping is it's about creating something beautiful to look at, and normally I like to use a substrate so I can put the rocks in it or the wood. No reason why you can't do bare bottom aquascaping. Just something I've never tried. I like to use soil. I find that helps to grow the plants really well. Shrimp like soil as well. But yeah, certainly give it a go. Yeah, why not? You probably need a little bit more focus on your biological filtration because the substrate acts as a really good biological filter, so do bear that in mind. But yeah, it'd be easy to keep a clean system like that because obviously you can see any detritus and stuff that's collecting on the bottom of the tank. So JP Gomez, hi, good to see you mate from Portugal. Missed you on the scape tour. Yeah, I was gutted not to have made that. Looks like you guys had a really good trip out there. I'm hoping to go to Lisbon fairly soon and see Amano's giant tank. That's definitely on my my list of things to do this year for sure. Hello from Indonesia. Gary Lee, do you feel gutted getting rid of all those wonderful ferns and crypts last night? No, not really. They serve their purpose. They look great in my home for a year or so, and it's time for someone else to enjoy them, and it gives me the opportunity to create something new. So a little bit of mixed emotions. Yeah, someone's benefiting massively from the hard work and the maintenance that I did on growing those ferns and crypts, but it's part of what I do. So yeah, not really gutted. H2O plants, nice to see you doing more streaming. It's great to listen to while at work. That tank looks great. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's looking a bit. I don't like it. Look at the state of the glass. I'll get real bothered with these. Look at that, Florence. It's terrible, isn't it? You gonna say hello to anyone?
Hello.
So my daughter's here. She's just sort of on her phone in the background. You might have seen her in some of my previous YouTube videos. Zachary. Greg P, yeah, you're welcome, mate. Good to see you getting into the plant and tank hobby. Quite a few reef keepers go from reef into planted or both. I'm actually going the other way around. I'm going to obviously stay a massive aquascaping fan, and it's my kind of bread and butter, if you like. But I do want to delve into the other areas of fish keeping, like reef and pond as well. So I do a lot of work with Evolution Aqua. They have their own reef products and pond products. So it'd be good to expand my repertoire, if you like, and apply some of the skills that I've learnt as an aquascaper into those areas of the hobby, which might be a little bit lacking at the moment. I've always fancied aquascaping a pond, really well with marginal plants, and just really focusing on like the plant composition, where a lot of ponds don't really focus on the plants from an aesthetic point of view. I think there could be lots of room for improvement there. And the same with reefscaping. There's some really good reefscapes out there, but there's a lot of bad ones as well. And hopefully I can use some of the skills I've learned as an aquascape and apply them to the reef hobby. So it's exciting times. Cheers from Italy to Patrizio. That's a cool name. Cheers from the USA. Fitz's Fish. Howdy. Valentine, Cosmin, hello. Fitz's fish. Do you get inspiration from somewhere, or do you escape as you go? I normally have a basic idea in my mind how I want the aquascape to look, and the more you do, the kind of more visual accuracy you have, if you like. A lot of the time, I will scape something on the fly, depending on what materials I've got to hand. So I do a lot of workshops for retailers, and I'm not sure exactly what plants they've got in stock or hardscape, so I'll have to tailor the aquascape to obviously, fit the equipment I've got to hand. But if I'm doing one at home, I normally plan it quite meticulously. I know what plants I've got, I know what hardscape I've got, so I can plan in my mind exactly how it's going to look. I don't really do sketches so much. I just kind of visualise it in my imagination. Stephen Chong, Creative Corner. Hey George, what are you working on tonight? I'm just nothing really. I mean, it's kind of lunchtime here today. I'm just talking about this tank. So Stephen Chong, he's the guy I mentioned earlier in the video. So Stephen, if you're just watching now, if you watched the beginning of the video, I do talk about our collaboration. So shout out to Stephen for that. Yeah, so that's going to be the next thing is using this beautiful tank to create our world of Anubias aquascape. So if some of you might follow me on Facebook, my personal page, if you just type in, if you just search for George Farmer, there's a photo of me taking a photo of myself in a mirror. You'll see a big camera, you'll see I've got an aquascaping t-shirt on, so you should find me quite easily. If you do add me as a friend, I've tried to add you. I'm near the 5,000 friend limit now, so we'll see how we go. But yeah, you can see if you look through my timeline or look at my notes, then you'll see in more detail the collaboration with Stephen Chong and I about the world of Anubias aquascape that we'll be creating in here. Robert Wilkinson, I struggle with keeping CO2 high enough for plants to grow while keeping cherry shrimp happily alive. I've buffered the water to 4 degrees kH in the past, and now I've gone down to 2 degrees. Yeah, it sounds like you've got really soft water. Cherry shrimp actually prefer it a bit harder in my experience. This is about kH10, kH12, and the cherry shrimp are breeding like mad. There's quite a lot of CO2 in here as well, so I think with a higher kH you can get away with adding a little bit more CO2 than softer water. So maybe think about hardening your water somehow, maybe adding some extra minerals, particularly magnesium and calcium. That should help promote your plant growth as well, because calcium and magnesium are nutrients for plants, but it also helps to buffer the water and potentially easier to keep your shrimp whilst adding quite a lot of CO2 as well. Any more questions, guys? Would you like a little tour of the tank? Maybe I'll take the phone off the tripod and I can show you the devastation in more close up. John Gale, are those Kessel lights? Yes, they are. Okay, I'm going to show you. Excuse the wobbling now. I'll just show you my my tank close up. Excuse all the watermarks. It's just a bit of a disaster at the moment, but. So you can see there's the volcano mineral, those bits of orangey brown bits of gravel, if you like. That's actually JBL volcano mineral, which is used as a bulking agent, basically, so I can slope the soil really steeply. Now you can see some shrimp quite easily there, hopefully the bee shrimp, which are really cool. They're doing okay. I was surprised that they're doing quite well in here, even though I've got really hard water. They tend to prefer softer water, but they seem to be fine in here. Loads of cherry shrimp there at the back. Okay, I'm just making sure. My fiance is due home soon, and I have to sign off when she gets home. Okay. No, they're not jelly bean tetras, mate. Hi from Sweden. How long do you wait before you put fish in? How long do I wait before I put fish in a new aquarium? So anything from a couple of weeks to a month or so, depending on the system. I don't rush to put fish in there. I like to take my time. So yeah, these are all Southeast Asian fish. You can see it's obviously not very pretty at the moment, but the fish seem happy enough. Might climb out in my nose. I'm running. Sorry guys, just cut me off then. Can you hear me now? Please just give us a quick shout out if you can hear me. It's a random pot of hair grass there, which I had left over from a demo. I've got some Amano shrimps in here somewhere, see if I can find any. There's actually quite a few, but there's one. Where are you? There he is. I'll just give you a quick, while I'm online, I'll show you my aquascape 600, it's doing okay. If you check out my videos, the aquascape 600 previous videos, you'll see how I set it up and how I rescaped it, how I maintain it. So yeah, it's doing quite well. Getting a bit of surface scum there, which is pretty standard in most of my planted tanks, so I can use a skimmer if I need to. And then I'll just show you my cherry shrimp tank, which is in desperate need of some maintenance. But it's looking okay. No CHC on here. You can see all the plants are growing healthily. So yeah, aquascape 300 cube. So I've got 3 aquascaper tanks. I've got 300 cube, a 600 and a 1200, all by Evolution Aqua. Some of you may know that I collaborate with Evolution Aqua to develop the aquascaper range. Ariane asks, what's my opinion on wave makers? Never really used them in a planted tank. I guess they could be helpful for extra circulation, and but yeah, I just normally just run the externals. So if you just joined, just talking about my aquascape and why it's looking so bad at the moment, because I'm going to do a rescape soon. I have at the moment three running aquascapes running at the moment. One's kind of in need of a rescape because it's just absolutely covered in algae. You'll see I did a video on that with the kids last week. Was it last week, Florence? Yeah. So yeah, that's in desperate need. I'm not doing too much at the moment with the scapes because I'm off to Canada for a week next week. So they'll all need a big maintenance session when I get back. I'll probably do a bit of maintenance before I go. Hi Greg, what's the best solution if you don't want a heater inside the tank? You can get external inline heaters, Hydor do them. If you're UK based, yeah, I'm pretty sure Hydor are available in other countries as well. Hayden, if shrimp aren't an option, what other cleanup crew would you put into an aquascape? Depending on the size of the tank, bristlenose catfish are quite good. They can eat soft tissue plants. It's a bit hit and miss. Otocinclus are good algae eaters, but they like to be kept in shoals. Ideally, you want sort of 10 or 20 at least. So you obviously need a big enough tank. Nearite snails can be okay as well. Doesn't algae bloom means rescaping, or do you try to fix it? Depends on how old the tank is. If I fancy a rescape just because I want to do something new, then I'll do a rescape. If the scape's looking good and I'm happy with it, and the algae is just a bit of an issue, then I'll fix the algae. I don't want to sound boastful or anything, but I don't really get much algae issues, just because I normally maintain the tanks and use appropriate equipment and appropriate techniques, so I avoid algae. The reason I got algae on that other tank is basically the timer. I was away from home and the timer stayed on for 72 hours, so it was just blasted with light, and hence the algae. So just trying to get it's like on there. Do you want to hold the phone for me, darling? Just point it at the tank. So I'm just gonna. I've got Florence doing a bit of videoing now, so I can just answer some questions. What's the best solution if you don't have done that one? Chipmunk, what scaping compositions would you suggest for cube tanks? Definitely island compositions are ideal. If you're viewing the tank from 3 sides, an island looks the best. Triangular compositions look good as well. Sky Demon Air Pirates, any idea why a Nintendo Switch flips out around aqua tanks? Sorry, no idea. Okay, Greg. As well as the usual pH, nitrate and ammonium, what are the most important parameters to test for and maintain in a planted tank? I'm going to cause a bit of controversy now, and I have never tested anything in this tank for the last year. I'm a great believer in not testing your water if you kind of know what you're looking for. If you do what I do, I use basically the estimated index method of fertilisation, but I use commercial products to do it. So I use an all-in-one liquid fertiliser, and I dose that every day, and then I do a large water change every week, and that resets all the nutrient levels, so I don't need to test that for that. I know that my water's hard simply because I have really bad lime scale in my kettle. I don't actually know what the conductivity is about 800 microsiemens out of the tap. I have a Fluval G filter in my other tank which has a conductivity meter, so I know it's very hard. Say again?
Someone's asked what's the point of a lily pipe?
Oh, the lily pipe. Do you want to just zoom in on the lily pipe? So the lily pipes are glass, so they're effectively hidden in the aquascape when they're clean, that is.
They said what's the point in a lily pipe?
Yeah, I'm just explaining what the point is. So they're basically so you hopefully can't then present less distraction in the aquascape. That's why they're made of glass, and the design of it is supposed to let the water flow ideally in a planted tank. It spreads the water around quite nicely. Okay, Hayden, probably a dumb question. Will carbon take liquid ferts out of the water? I don't actually know. I've heard that it does, but I haven't seen any evidence that it does, because I quite regularly use carbon in my tanks to keep the water crystal clear, and I dose every day with liquid fertiliser, and my plants have no trouble growing. So I guess if it does take any nutrients out, it's minimal. Yes, Pablo. Yeah, the white sand doesn't look so well. No. The reason that it looks terrible is because I've ripped out all of the plants pretty much, well, apart from the ones you can see obviously, to make room. Well, I'm going to do a new aquascape soon, so if you watch the video from the beginning, I'll explain exactly the whole reason why it looks like it does and what I'm going to do about it.
Someone's asked why keep some plants in the little pots.
That's just I just had this plant left over from a scape I did the other week, and I didn't want to plant it properly, so I've just literally left it in there to keep it alive. And I might use it in another aquascape. I might not. I'm not sure yet. So it's just in there as a temporary home. It's nothing, I normally would, if I was planting it properly, I'd obviously take it out of its pot, separate it, and then plant it with tweezers. Yeah, Robert says harder water better for cherry shrimp. I think it is. I've ran hard water setups, soft water setups, and the shrimp, Neocaridina, davidii, which are cherry shrimp, scientific name, they seem to prefer the harder water. That's just my experience. It's not based on any evidence or hard scientific data. It's just based on what my anecdotal experience is. David Hewitt, EI dosing with all-in-one, what multiplier? Well, I normally, as a rule of thumb, in a sort of high energy setup, hello everyone, I normally dose about 10 millilitres per 100 litres of aquarium water per day in a standard CO2 injected with moderate to high lighting. My favourite fertiliser at the moment is either Tropica Specialised which contains nitrates and phosphates, or the nutrient company Complete, which is a very similar product. It contains all the micronutrients and macronutrients that the plants need. I just like the simplicity of having an all-in-one. I just dose it every day. I dose, probably overdose, but that's fine because the plants will happily use any excess nutrients, and the water change every week just helps to keep algae away. Okay, yeah, cool. So Enceladus, I like leaving mine in the pots, are easy to clean. Yeah, fair enough. If they're growing in the pots, that's fine. Fixers Fish, getting ready to purchase a CO2 system. Is there anything I should look out for as far as algae? With CO2, just try to get a fairly sort of consistent 20 to 30 parts per million. Most people shoot for 30 parts per million. Get that consistent throughout your photo period. Before you sort that out, kind of before you use your any sort of high lighting levels, and just keep it stable, and hopefully you'll be okay. I would always change a lot of water in a new cess system in the early days, 50% at least every other day for a brand new setup. Very nice tank, enjoy.
There's 2 Amano shrimp fighting over here. There we were a minute ago.
How many tanks have you got up and running at the moment? Says Dan Mowers. Just 3 at the moment. Got a 4th one which needs lots of attention. Why did my mini Pellier turn brown? Says Andrew. I'm doing ferts and CO2 and everything else is doing fine. Sounds like you might have a dodgy batch of mini Pellier maybe if all your other plants are doing well. It's not a very. Just want to focus on this plant here. This sort of mossy plant. So this is my mini Pellier. It's doing fine, even though the lights are kind of intermittently on and off, and there's no CO2 in the tank at the moment. So I think you might just have a dodgy batch of plant maybe. Those shrimps are fat. I want some. Yeah, they've been growing on quite nicely in this tank, haven't they, Florence?
Yeah. These 3 are having an algae.
Okay, guys, I'm going to sign off there. Thanks for watching.
Where do you buy your hardscape?
Okay, last question. Apollo Nautica, where do you buy all your hardscape from? I get most of my hardscape from Aquarium Gardens. It's my local retailer. It happens to be the only aquascaping specialist shop in England. So very coincidentally, as a professional aquascaper, to live a couple of miles away from an aquascaping shop is pretty. What are the chances of that? Probably like 1 in a million. But yeah, very lucky. So yeah, I go to he's a good friend of mine, Dave Pierce. He owns the shop. I help him out normally 1 day a week with tank maintenance, and he gives me a good deal on hardscape. Okay, guys, I'm going to sign off now. Just want to point the camera at me for a bit. I'll just say my Cheerios to everyone. So thanks for watching. Really appreciate the engagement that I'm having on these live streams. I try to do 1 a week if I can. Don't get too close. Yeah, so if you've got any ideas for other topics that you'd like covered, maybe I'll consider maybe doing a little bit of a workshop with you guys. I could do algae, I could do lighting, substrates, all of the above. So if you have any ideas, then the most popular kind of ideas I'll think about doing a live stream to help you guys out if that's the kind of thing you're interested in. So yeah, thanks for watching. Take care. Keep an eye on my other YouTube videos if you can. Subscribe if you don't already, that would be lovely. And keep on scaping. Cheers. Bye bye.